take a child into becoming a dependent or ward of the court, they become our children. In all reality, we are charged with the care and raising of that child. And what would you like to know about your kids? Would you like to know where they're living? Or are they going to school? That'd be good. Do they have behavior problems? How about their health? Would you like to know that? Of course you would. Say, what are you talking about? Of course I'd like to know that. If you didn't know that, what kind of a parent would you be? You'd be a lousy parent, wouldn't you? Well, welcome to the group that I belong to called Lousy Parents. Because we don't know too often when we have to do something.
In May of 2013, the California Health and Human Services Agency Office of Systems Integration held a first-of-its-kind symposium designed to generate a roadmap to statewide health and human services interoperability, integration, and information sharing.
Critical systems are not able to talk to each other, so that those folks that are making decisions for the most vulnerable populations do not have a way to make decisions with data that they need to make smart decisions.
Time after time, when you find a tragedy in child welfare, a serious injury to a child, death, grand juries investigate, and invariably you'll have the courts and the decision makers all saying, well, if I had only known X, Y, or Z information about the child, we wouldn't have done it that way. And often the information is in the files, it's just not shared with the right folks.
If we're going to serve California citizens, it's important for us that manage the technology systems to have systems that can actually exchange information and share data about the consumers that we work with so that we can serve them better.
I think we've moved to the point where technology isn't necessarily the greatest hindrance. I mean, technology still has its challenges in doing these things, but the bigger challenges are going to be around the policy issues, the aligning the visions.
Symposium attendees engaged in highly interactive workshops and discussions that will serve as the foundation for developing a comprehensive roadmap to foster information sharing, bridge information silos, and deliver efficient and effective services to the public. The results of this symposium will be shared with other jurisdictions crafting their own interoperability roadmaps.
I think we start by saying that our intention is to develop a culture of communication. Something where it's assumed that we share information rather than starting from the assumption that we don't.
The culture change that we're really creating is a culture of trust so that the data is available not for the use of the person who has the data within government, but for the betterment of our population of foster children.
At Health and Human Services, recently we've had some different agencies or departments folding into the Medi-Cal program. And so part of the way to get to yes was leadership in the agency, identifying the problems and then working with the staff there to get to yes.
With a strong commitment on getting to yes, the focus of the 2.5-day event was on developing business, governance, legal and technological frameworks that will enable and encourage data exchange at all levels of California's state and county government.
Conceptually, from a legal standpoint, the statutes are written so that your out-of-the-box answer is no. And they were all written a long time ago when you're looking at fear and protection of information. So the whole idea of starting with yes is something that I'm going to have to try and reframe myself around so that when a confidentiality question comes up, while I look at the statute, I'm going to have to try and think of, I need to start with yes. And what do I need to do to get there?
My advice to the attorneys is that, yes, be conscious of your privacy and confidentiality laws, and certainly you want to avoid liability for your department, but you also want to focus on how best are the client's needs going to be served. And sometimes that means sharing the information with the appropriate restrictions rather than just saying no.
The fact that we're talking about how to make it happen and we're coming from the concept of yes, not no, is huge.
Let's start with yes and start with that as the value and continue the conversations until we can feel confident about a yes rather than starting with no.
You know, the easiest thing to do is to tell the client, don't do anything. Just say no to everything. And you can't get in trouble because you haven't violated any law. Of course, you haven't done anything for your clients. How can we rationally protect the legitimate privacy interests of the children and the families that we deal with? At the same time, get us the information we need so that their lives are made better and not worse. That's the objective.